Paul, I thought I was busy being an attorney and a partner at this law firm, being a dance mom, singing in my band, but you definitely have me beat. Let me ask, do you ever sleep?
Yeah, but no one will ever see me do it. I'm very strategic about sneaking in my cat naps.
You sleep with your eyes open?
Yeah, look, to me, it's one of my lessons from my instructor, Mike Lee, movement is life. And so I need to be moving. I'm like, I have this joke that I'll sleep when I'm dead. Like, I am afraid of missing life. Like, people are like, oh, I'm afraid of dying. You know what? I'm afraid of not living.
You have FOMO. Big time.
But I'm also like, I don't know when, like, my next experience with someone would be, so I don't want to waste it.
Hey there, hot messes. Welcome to Success of a Hot Mess, where we celebrate the art of juggling life's chaos and coming out on top. I'm Stacey Isaacs, your host and resident rock star lawyer, dance mom, and survivor. We're going to dive into candid conversations about conquering challenges, embracing our unique selves, and finding success in the beautiful mess of it all. Hey everyone, today we're talking to Paul Faust of Ring Boost. Paul, can you tell us a little bit about your business?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm the president of a company called ringboost.com, and what we specialize in is driving more voice communication through phone numbers. So local numbers, vanity numbers, toll-free numbers, easy dial patterns, what I like to consider the last 3 feet of marketing. So you're spending your billboards, your radio, your TV, your social media. We help provide firms and other businesses with that memorable number so people know how to call and where to call.
What would you say is the most memorable phone number that you've ever sold?
Wow, the most memorable. That's a great question. I've done thousands and thousands of numbers.
Okay, how about like top 3?
Numbers in the toll-free world that are 222-2222, or early on, not in the legal category, 1-800-HOSPICE, 1-800-HOME CARE, but in the legal world, we have 1-800-HURT-NOW. I mean, there's so many great numbers depending on the brand, on the business. It's interesting because some people think it has to be their name. It doesn't always have to be. It could be We Fight. It could be Hurt. So it could be digits. So there's so many different creative ways to tie into your brand or tie into what you're about or your tagline. So
like our phone number, 954-324-COMP. That's a good one also.
Right, it's a local number. Everyone knows the area code. They have to remember the first 3 and then comp, and it's what you do. So I like getting creative with my clients and saying, all right, what's the name of the business? So your last name might not work because is it 1A, is it 2 A's, C's? We want to be simple. So I love talking to clients and saying, tell me what you do, tell me your domain, tell me your tagline, tell me what you care about, what do you say in your marketing? So it's a fun, creative way, and it's always been amazing to me that like a firm, and let's look at your firm, I mean, you guys do it, but spend money designing a really cool logo, and we'll get a domain and a tagline and do social media and do SEO, and then people say, I'm just going to get the next number off the pile. Why would you just let that important tool be randomized? Why not choose something that you like that's more memorable, that makes it easier for referrals, even if you're not a big advertiser?
Yeah.
So it's really, for me, it's not about, the phone number is the product. The business is actually just driving more voice interaction, which I think in today's day and age is more important than ever with AI and ChatGPT and sort of the leveling of the playing field in terms of content and what we can say and how we say it. Well, here's what that stuff will never replace. It'll never replace you. It'll never replace David. You guys are unique individuals with unique talents and personalities and emotions, and it's never you. So I want to build that, who am I? Like, you can't replace me. Chat can replace maybe things I say sometimes, and AI, but my stories, my intonation, my emotion is irreplaceable. That's why I believe in the power of voice.
Quick question.
Yes.
Are you able to sell phone numbers like 555-5555, or is that just reserved for the movies?
Nope. There are, in fact, I did for a client, 800-555-5555. There's not a lot of them out there, but they are out there. So it was the original sort of non-working exchange for movies that they would throw out there, but now they're out there. You can get them.
And how did you get involved in this type of business?
Very, very calculated, planned my whole life. No, I'm kidding. I actually met a guy playing softball. Started talking. I needed more guys for a tournament. I invited him. He wound up coming to the tournament. We were talking about it. He was selling his business and starting a new business. I'm like, what's your new business? He said, we're doing phone numbers. I'm like, well, that's the dumbest thing I ever heard. What do you mean you're doing phone numbers? And we started talking about it. And by the end of the tournament, we had written on a barf bag from the airplane, like hundreds and hundreds of numbers. And he's like, dude, you get it. You got to come join me. So it's a story that I tell a lot of young kids who are in high school and college, like, just be in the game. Like, I didn't have a plan to be in the phone number business and be the president of the company and grow this thing. It just, I met someone, an opportunity showed up. It was creative, it fit right in my wheelhouse. And it was like, I didn't plan for it. So just be ready. Those opportunities in the world are all over the place if your eyes are up and you're listening. And this was just a random opportunity that changed my entire trajectory of my life. And in literally, if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't have done this. I wouldn't have done that. I wouldn't be sitting here. I probably wouldn't be living in Florida now. Like, it just happened. It wasn't a plan. So, which I love about life and the way life can turn like that.
And so what a lot of people might not know about you is you're actually a volunteer firefighter, right?
I'm actually retired now. I did it for about 13, 14 years in 3 different departments. I started out Larchmont Fire, then I went to Chappaqua Fire, then when I moved to Somers, I was in Somers Fire, and I moved down here and wanted to continue because I think I'm still able to. And the closest department is Deerfield from where we live, and they wouldn't take me because I don't live or work in Deerfield. And I've always said one of the biggest problems with the fire service is the fire service. Like, I'm a trained firefighter with 13, 14 years of experience, interior firefighter. I want to volunteer in your town. They have a sign up, they say they need volunteers, but no, because I don't live or work there. I mean, it's kind of crazy because I even said I'll do 24-hour shifts where I'll come stay at the house. I'm like, nope. So I'm officially retired from being a firefighter, which I loved. It was an important part of who I was and giving back to my community. So now I'm finding other ways to give back.
Didn't you actually help out after 9/11?
Yes, I did. I actually, at first, I was in the city, tried to get downtown and couldn't because I couldn't get out of the city. Finally got out of the city, got home, checked on my wife and our new baby to make sure everything was fine, and then got gear and went back in. But I was only there for a short period of time because in the beginning it was total chaos. No one knew what was going on, wanted to help out, but then eventually they brought in both the best of the best from, collapse, rescue, earthquake. The LA guys came in with their search dogs. And then ultimately it was the NYFD guys that wanted to go get their brothers that were lost, and it was time for us to get out of the way. I went back to my town and we wound up, covering other areas. But yeah, it was an experience, that's for sure.
Yeah, that had to impact you emotionally.
It impacted me not necessarily in the ways people think it would. It impacted me because this was probably the worst horror we've seen on our soil. Maybe you can go back to Pearl Harbor, but what impacted me the most was the way people came together. And what bothered me the most was how quickly we forgot. So when I was in New York City and everywhere you went, people were just opening doors for everybody. People were saying, how are you? If someone bumped into you, they'd apologize. Like, it kind of, this horror brought us all together. And I don't know why we need that horror and that commonality to show that we're all alike and that we're all similar. We're all just trying to get along. And then, because eventually we just forget about that. And we go back to, trying to deal with ourselves and push people out of the way. So it was really beautiful to see in this terrible time, like, how the whole city came together. People were giving and serving people and helping people and coming together to raise money and blood and support. It was beautiful amidst the horror. And it's horrible that we need those things to kind of bring us together.
Yeah, I mean, speaking of the horror, you actually chose to move to a town here in Florida where we did have the high school mass shooting. Yep. Did the shooting at all impact your decision to move here? I know you had a daughter that would be attending the high school where the shooting took place. Did the shooting having taken place here impact you at all in making a decision? Not
in the slightest. I think that there's evil out there. It's random. It could happen in any town, any community of every single, and we've seen it in every single economic, racial, sexual orientation zone. Like, you can't hide from evil. There is evil. In fact, if you really want to deeply analyze it, you say, well, it's a great place to move. First of all, it's a great community, and they've made security tighter, but you can't live your life in fear of that might happen somewhere. Yeah, I mean, I live my life like I'm not going to, bad parts of neighborhoods around the country at 1 a.m. and flashing cash and jewelry. That's just different. But not for 1 second did I say, do I want to be in that community? Because I don't live my life that way. There's bad people, there's evil, and I don't want them to affect my enjoyment of living, where I'm going to do it, and I think we could deal with them, that evil in better ways.
That's a good perspective. Another thing I know about you, you are involved in Israeli self-defense, Haganah, I
Yes.
believe. Can you tell us a little about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So I studied an Israeli martial art called Krav Maga for over 20 years with multiple instructors. Had heard about another gentleman named Mike Lee Kinerik, who was a Israeli special operator, and he created his own style, and it's a longer story as to why. And I'd heard about him for years, read his book, and when I moved down here, I was looking for a place to train, and I just hit the lottery in the sense that he trains here.
What's his name again? I'm sorry.
Mike Lee Kinerik.
Mike Lee Kinerik.
And he has a style that he created called Haganah, and I was blessed that not only did he teach here, but that he accepted me to train with him, because we're not an open school where anyone come train. And I was blessed that he allowed me to come train with them. It's more like a family, and he took the best parts of Krav that he thought were effective, and then brought in Muay Thai, which is the best striking, and his own weapon system, and knives are the specialty of the house, and I get to train with him, so I'm blessed. And he brings sometimes other instructors in from Israel around the world, but mainly Israel, who I believe are the best of the best, and we get to train with them, so it's fun.
But for listeners who may not have any idea what Krav Maga is in terms of self-defense,
Okay.
And my limited knowledge, would you say it's kind of like less rules than other martial arts?
But less rules because there are no rules. It's
There you go.
street style self-defense. It's not my description. It's not an art form. It was designed by a gentleman who was trying to teach Jewish youth how to fight back against the Nazis and against these groups that were going around beating up Jews in the streets. And he took his background in wrestling, boxing, and other arts, and underground would teach people how to fight, how to teach Jews how to defend themselves. When he immigrated to Israel, it became the official fighting form of the IDF. Everyone learns it, but it's based on natural movements. It's not based on how big you are, your size, and it's really a street style. It's relatively new when you talk about the Japanese arts and the other arts that have been around for hundreds, if not thousands of years. This is, since basically the birth of Israel. And they're constantly adapting it and changing it based on tactics. And Krav doesn't make this bones, it created everything. It pulls from the best from other styles and said, this is what we think works. There's other great styles out there, but I think from a street perspective and learning something quickly, there's nothing better than the Israeli martial arts. It's just my opinion.
And women can do this as well.
Women, kids. I've trained with teenagers or even younger, and people who are in their 60s, 70s. It's practical. Look, I don't want to create some false narrative that if you're a 100-pound woman and you've trained for a year or two and you get attacked by a 6'2", a man who's 280 pounds, like you should just walk around like you could beat everybody up. You can't. But you will have a different set of skills. I believe the biggest aspect of training is you will not be a victim as much, or
it's
at all.
Confidence mentality.
Predators want prey. Predators don't hunt other predators. You see it if you watch videos of the savannah. They look for the old, the weak, the young, the one lagging the pack. When you start to train any martial, I don't care if you're boxing, wrestling, jiu-jitsu, any of them, you start to carry yourself differently. Your shoulders are back, your eyes are up, you're more aware, and the predators out there go, not that one. So that's the biggest thing that I got is my awareness and my confidence that I walk around. I don't expect to be a victim, but I could walk around everywhere and point out, that's a potential victim. Their eyes are down, they're meek, they're scared, they're on their phone, they're not paying attention to surroundings. That's what predators are looking for. So I encourage everyone, or if you have children, especially the high school age that you're about to send off to college, get them in a train somewhere and let them build that self-confidence to walk around with a different attitude. The odds of them being a victim. Now, there's always going to be random acts of violence. We know that. We talked about it before in Parkland. But I think that's what training for. I'm not training because I want to get in fights. Like I train, first of all, because I just enjoy it. It's fascinating to me. But I see the way it's changed people's perspective and how they carry themselves in the world, which I think then translates into business. Your family, the confidence you carry. So I think, martial arts backgrounds for anybody. is important.
So besides ring boost, Haganah, firefighting, what about your acting career? Tell us a little bit about that, how you got into it, what you're doing now with it.
Thank you. And then I will also tell you about some of the other things I'm doing in the legal world. But I've always enjoyed acting. When I was in high school, I was in a theater group called PACE, Performing Arts Curriculum Experience, which all through 4 years of high school, I did. It was dance, theater, video, and art, and then you slowly drop one, and I stayed in the theater program.
Wait, dance? Could you do a little dance for us?
I cannot and will not. I dropped that one early. It was dance, art, video, and acting, and I stayed through theater, and I've always loved it, performing. Almost dropped out of college to go to Lee Strasberg. Realized that I didn't have the dedication that other actors do, where they will drive a taxi, bartend, work in a call center, no matter what it takes. I didn't have that drive. So I kind of just didn't pursue it. Said, I want to be an entrepreneur. But through my entrepreneurial endeavors, and it's a longer story, I wound up through my family's connections, my wife's connections, going out to LA, being on the set of The Office, meeting them. And when I left, somebody wrote a part that said, there has to be a character on the show called Cool Guy Paul. And it was based off of me. Long story short, they couldn't find an actor to play the part. And so the day before they shot, they called me and said, do you want to audition to play yourself? So that was a cool experience to get to be on the Office playing myself. And then I just love that experience. And now I started a production company with a partner, Bruce Bellacci, who's been a writer, director, 25 years, and we are now making movies. We shot our first one, which is at the distributor now, called Love Kills. It's kind of a dark comedy. We're about to start our next one in August, which is a boxing pick, but it's really not about boxing. It's really about the relationship between this older trainer and this young kid and how they're really saving each other. So it's really a story.
Like Rocky?
Yeah, very similar. It's very similar to that concept. It just, boxing, it just provides a powerful background and a backdrop to these two people who are diametrically opposed and how they're really saving each other. And then we have others that we're going to do. And it's a passion. It's fun. And it's funny when people said to me, you can't make movies. I'm like, oh, why not? Because everyone has this I can't. Well, why not? I can do it. Well, you can't shoot a movie for under X dollars. Well, why can't I? Well, you're certainly not going to shoot it in 5 days. Okay, I did. Well, yeah, but you're not going to get it distributed anywhere. Well, yeah, we have a distribution deal. People live in this world of, these are the rules and you can. I don't care about your rules. I didn't make them. I didn't read the book. Well, hey, you can't be a partner in a law firm. Guess what? I am. The rules have changed. Don't play by other people's rules. I wanted to make movies, so I started a company to make movies. Maybe it failed, but I don't care. I'm just playing a different game.
And tell us how you are a partner of a law firm, because I know you did not go to law school or take the bar.
Let's edit this part out. No, there are certain vehicles. Arizona just passed laws called an ABS, alternative business structure, where you are seeing that you don't have to be a lawyer to be a partner in a law firm. So you're seeing a big change in the legal field where there's billions of dollars coming in from hedge funds and others that want to invest in the space and grow the space because now they can. I've been in the space as president of Ring Boost for 17 years now. But I also have started consulting and partner in other businesses. Trust Legal Finance with my partner, Dean Chase. We help firms with pre-settlement funding, post-settlement, pre-settlement, case cost funding, medical expert, any kind of funding, docket funding. So I became a partner in that business. I'm helping a company called now MediVisuals. They do demonstrative aids for cases where you could show injury. And other firms like that I've, a company called Triple Digital and Pinpoint Tech, which does SEO and other technology. So I've taken my relationships, which is what I enjoy, and I've said, look, I know some of the best vendors, some of the best ways to grow your firm. Let me partner with these vendors to bring them out to my thousands of contacts, because it's really everybody wins. And I love this space. I have been blessed in the personal injury and mass tort space to be let behind the curtain. People see these ads, they see these billboards, and oh, these guys are ambulance chasers. Oh, this is what they're all about, money. And I'm like, no, you don't understand. I'm deeply embedded in this field. Without these people, the public doesn't realize how screwed they'd be, that they keep the other side in check. Pharmaceutical companies, device companies, insurance companies, from taking advantage of people who've been legitimately injured. So I'm blessed that I get to work with these law firms and lawyers in these PI, mass tort, workers' comp space that are protecting everybody from the other side. And it's a great balance. Are there bad actors in the space? Absolutely. There's also bad teachers, bad pizzeria owners, and I'm sure there's a couple bad phone number guys out there. But I know how much these people genuinely care about protecting all of us. And so I'm blessed that I get to run my core business, that I get to consult with these other vendors, and I get to work with the best lawyers in the business to grow this stuff. And through that vehicle, I was offered the opportunity to be an investor, to be a partner in some of this, so I can help grow and get out to more people who've been wrongly hurt and are being taken advantage of. And you see it, I'm sure, as a lawyer time where someone's legitimately hurt, and the insurance companies, their job is to, in my opinion, is pay as little as possible. And your job is to say, wait a minute, there's another side here. This is a human being with a family. And so I'm blessed that I get to be around, the industry, and I want to be involved more and more in it. So I mean, I'm just blessed to be around it and be around these awesome people and grow in it and make a living out of it.
Right. And I know, are you doing some sort of consulting for law firms that's taking you to all different cities?
Yeah, because of my own business, and then I'm consulting for the Trust Legal Finance and all these and many visuals. I get to go to as many conferences as I want because again, and this is an important point for if there's any younger people listening. Yes, there are technologies, there's social media, there's artificial intelligence that makes a lot of our tasks easier, but nothing will ever replace being in front of someone, talking to someone, shaking hands, having a drink with someone, having a meal with someone, sharing an experience with someone. So I go to about 15 events a year, conferences that are in the personal injury work comp mass tort space, where I get to network with not only lawyers, but other vendors in the space, where I get to make relationships. We're all marketing to the same people. We could share knowledge, share ideas. And if I asked Chat GPT, so could you tell me about a really cool experience that I had with Armando Leduc? It's not going to answer that. I have that experience because I went on a plane to a hotel and spent time with people, and nothing is ever going to replace that. So I go to as many as I can because I believe in that human connection, immediacy, closeness, shared experience, and sitting around a room, you just have a different energy than if all of us piped in via Zoom. There's different when you're sitting in a room together and looking at someone and laughing together, and you hear about different things. And also, as a vendor in the space, it's important for me to understand what your issues are. Like, I want to sit in the room. I don't just want to sit in my booth. I want to hear what the work comp attorneys are talking about, what their problems are, what they're seeing in terms of insurance regulations, what they're seeing in terms of people not responding to messages. So I can cater how I provide service to you guys. I need to understand your business a little bit. Right. So I don't think there's anything's ever going to replace that. I do sit on Zoom conferences and Zoom webinars and podcasts and learn that way. So I'm not saying that they're not important. And there's a time and a place where a Zoom meeting works and a webinar and a podcast works. And there's also a time and a place where leaving your comfort of where you are and going somewhere else and sitting with other people works. So I do a lot of it. And there's a lot of amazing, amazing conferences out there that people have made their year or their businesses off of attending in one connection. I've seen it over and over and over again.
Well, Paul, I thought I was busy being an attorney and a partner at this law firm, being a dance mom, singing in my band, but you definitely have me beat. Let me ask, do you ever sleep?
Yeah, but no one will ever see me do it. I'm very strategic about sneaking in my cat naps.
You sleep with your eyes open?
Yeah, look, to me, it's one of my lessons from my instructor, Mike Lee, movement is life. And so I need to be moving. I'm like, I have this joke that I'll sleep when I'm dead. Like, I am afraid of missing life. Like, people are like, oh, I'm afraid of dying. You know what? I'm afraid of not living.
You have FOMO. Big time.
But I'm also like, I don't know when, like, my next experience with someone would be. So I don't want to waste it. Like, so I'll fight to be awake and not sleep because I'm scared of missing experiences with human beings. And, I'll figure out when to steal a cat nap, or when I go to conferences and there's a section on, how to run your finances for the law firm or how to hire the next. Okay, I don't need that one. Right. So I can run up to the room, take a half-hour cat nap. Nobody knows I'm gone because there's a lot of moving parts. So I'm sneaking my naps in, but I'm just afraid of missing life because it moves quickly. And so that's why it seems as if I don't ever sleep and I'm everywhere. I figure it out.
for listeners who would like to catch these movies of yours, where can they do that?
They can on Amazon. We started on Amazon, so Love Kills will hopefully be up in the next 30 to 45 days, and then we're about to start shooting the next one, which is the title's going to be One, and that'll get released on Amazon first, and then the other platforms. And I should get in trouble. And if you also want to do business with me, you can go to ringboost.com, which is my website, or call me at 914-200-0013. Because 13 is my lucky number. I should mention my own business. But yeah, our movies get released on Amazon, and they go up to the other platforms after that.
Excellent. Have you ever thought about writing a book to add it to your list of accomplishments?
I have 17 book titles and 17 plans of books, but with ADD, that's where I stop. I just come up with the idea, and then I write it, and then I don't do it.
Well, I could be your editor, so.
Oh, you'll edit? Also, by the way, I've also want to do podcasts, and I picked the name of my podcast, set up a Facebook page for my podcast. I think it's going on about 6 years now. I just haven't done that either. So I'll do that too. Again, I don't know where everyone read the book that says you have to do one thing all day long and then live for a weekend or live for a day off. I'm just playing a different game. Like I want to experience every single part of life. So I want to make movies. I'll make movies. I want to go dive with sharks. I'll go dive with sharks. I want to act. I want to consult for other businesses. Why can't I? Like I joke with everybody at these conferences. You guys flying in private jets. I'm like, I'm the richest guy in this room by far. I'm just not measuring it in dollars.
Right.
I'm measuring it different ways. And so I want to experience like you tell me something cool, like, oh my God, we got this cool new thing in workers' comp. Like, I'm in. Well, give me an office. Let's go do it. Like, I just want to try new stuff. Maybe I don't like it all, but why not experience it? So, yeah, book I'll do. I've got a few of them, some really cool ones actually, and then my podcast that eventually I will do.
Okay, before we wrap up, are there any quotes that you live by?
Oh yeah, you think I have a whole bunch.
Don't give me like 20, maybe like 2.
Well, no 0 days is an important one for me, which I actually tattooed on my arm because it just tells me just live life. Like don't have a wasted day. And that doesn't mean make money. It could be do charity. It could be read something. It could be learn something. It could be help somebody. It could be spend time with your family. Like just don't have a 0 day because like I don't know if today's my last day, tomorrow, like we're not given a certain amount of time. So no 0 days is really important to me. Can't change it is another one I got from Hal Elrod, and it's changed a lot of how I think about things. When you get bad news, whether it be a bad diagnosis medically or a family member or you lost your biggest client, like allow yourself the human emotion for 5 minutes of being upset, angry, and then just, you can't change it. Now move through it. I'm not going to let a bad situation now affect my entire day, my week, my relationship with my friends, how I enjoy, softball this weekend. Like I can't change it. Let me affect what I can change. So that's helped me, just sort of reset myself when something bad happens. I'm like, okay, it happened. That sucked. Next, like, I'm not going to let it ruin more. So can't change it. No 0 days. I have so many movement in his life from Mike Lee Canary about moving and not stopping. So I could literally have a podcast on sayings that have affected my life.
I actually saw one that you posted on your social media, which I have posted in the past. So it really resonated. It's, you can't change the people around you. So change the people around you.
Yes.
Find new friends, basically.
Find new friends, tighten the circle, find the people that value you. Like I posted once, like if I post things about my life, like I see who comments and offers genuine encouragement and support, and I see the ones that don't. The ones that do are the ones I want to be around. I think it's one lesson we learned. One of the beauties of COVID, even though it was a horror and it affected so many lives, the beauty was we were forced to tighten our circles a little bit, spend more time with family, and then we opened it up to a couple close friends. And we sort of, the periphery people fell off, and I realized, man, these are the people that matter to me. And I spent so much time just trying to be friends with everybody. You can have acquaintances with everybody, but tighten the circle up to the people that mean something to you, that want to support you, that don't make fun of what you do, that, that support your craziness, that show up when you're going to play. You said you play gigs, that show up and clap in the front row, not just like. Yeah, so I'm trying to, because people seem to like when I have these quotes that have affected me in certain ways, so I'm trying to post out more videos about that quotes and how they've affected me, and they really can. I made a conscious decision about 6 years ago to change my mindset, and it flipped a light switch on, and I was like, wow, the world is this way? I just wasn't looking at it the right way, and it changed so much for me, and now I just want to, I want to share that with other people to hopefully change their lives as well.
I think you're doing a lot of great stuff. Thank you so much for coming today.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Success of a Hot Mess. If you loved what you heard today, be sure to subscribe so you never miss a beat. And hey, sharing is caring. Share this podcast with your friends, family, and anyone who could use a dose of inspiration. Until next time, keep rocking those hot mess moments with style and grace. Cheers.